Hi. First of all, I would like to say thank you. All right, thank you for everyone either you are watching this from YouTube or listening to this podcast via Spotify or any other podcast platform. All right, so for this second episode, I'm just gonna talk about how do I got anxiety disorder. Basically, how do I think I got anxiety disorder? Right. So my assumption is basically based on my reading, my research, and then my discussion with my psychiatrist, right? Because I think some of you know, when you have anxiety disorder, you want to learn more, you want to know more, right? How do you get this illness and so on, okay? So basically in this episode, I'm going to talk about that, and then I'm going to talk about the first step on managing your anxiety disorders, right? The first step that you need to take in order to take the next step, okay? So throughout my research, my reading, talking to psychiatrists and so on, it makes me wonder, right? How do I get anxiety disorder? There's like a lot of factors that contribute to that. One of it is genetics, right? But I'm not going to talk about genetic factors because of that is the thing that we cannot control. And okay, this is again, it's in my opinion, yeah. In my opinion, genetic maybe don't contribute much, maybe like, I don't know, 5 to 10% or 20%, but we can't control that. But there's a lot of other factors that we can control, and one of it that I think that contribute to my anxiety disorder is stress. Okay, and then it makes me wonder, right? So what did I do that made me so stressed? Because of when I think back, I mean, when I was started having an anxiety, it was like 4 years ago. I think it was 2016. My life back then is not that stressful. I mean, like, I like my job. My job didn't take me to went back home late and so on. So I don't think I had a stress regarding my job. And then I look at my marriage, right? I think it's normal for couple to have, like, you know, argument. It's not like that worse. It's just like, you know, a simple argument, husband and wife, right? And again, it doesn't make me that stressed, right? And until certain point, it makes me stressed to think, what did I stress about, you know? But the thing that I don't realize, and some of you might not realize as well, is we have this unnecessary stress, all right? So for example, back then I was too ambitious, all right? What I mean by that, if I want something, I really work for it until I get it. Okay, so I work very hard to get the promotions and so on. And then, like, after I went back from work, I run the business. I try to do a lot of businesses and so on because of I want more money, right? So basically, I was too ambitious and I was too self-centered. Because of when I was too busy, sometimes I forgot to eat. I forgot to play around with my kids. I forgot to spend time with my families and all. So that's one of the unnecessary stress that I might not look at it. You know, like sometimes it's not like that big stress. It's just a small stress, but you know, it'll be like compiling. I mean, like bit by bit by bit by bit, it grows, and then it becomes anxiety disorder, right? The next one is traffic, right? So I think most of you, maybe all of you, you know, been through a traffic, right? Either you want to go to work in the morning, or you want to send your kids to school, you know, or even after you want to go back from the office to your home, you will be meeting traffic, right? So again, you might not think that it's as stressful as you think, but you know, slowly, bit by bit, it's become bigger and bigger and bigger. Then here it is, anxiety disorder. And I think, yeah, some other stuff like, I don't know, maybe, you know, when you are tired and then your kids are fighting and so on, you know, this little thing, you know, when you group it together and they become bigger, and then boom, it becomes anxiety disorder and a lot of other mental illness, right? Okay, but the thing is, stress is not only contribute to your mental health, all right? It is not only contribute to your mental illness. It can. And I think if you read an article, if you ask doctor, most of the physical illness, the chronic diseases come from stress, right? For example, heart disease, cancer, diabetes, gastro problem, high blood pressure, and so much more. So basically, stress is very dangerous, right? So it's not only impacting your mental health, but it's also impacting your physical health as well. So I believe we need to know how to manage our stress, because I don't think we can avoid stress, right? I mean, more or less it will come, either it's big or small, but the only way for us is we need to know how to manage it. Okay, so from my reading, from my research, from my like as I mentioned, talk to other people and so on, so I can see that the anxiety, the stress, everything comes from the brain, comes from our mind, right? So when I got a relapse in 2019, right? I think I've talked about it on the first episode. So if I made a goal, I made a promise to myself, if I'm able to manage it this time, all right, if I'm able to manage it this time, I'm not going to hide anymore that I have a mental issue, all right? I'm not going to hide it anymore, because all this while I hide it because of the stigma. And I promised to myself I'm going to help others that went through the same journey, so that you guys don't need to go whatever that I went through, right? So from that, okay, so back to this slide. So if you see anxiety, stress, and a lot of other mental illness, even physical illness, right? The root is the brain, it's the mind, right? So from there, that's where I started to learn more about mindset, about well-being, about mindfulness, because I believe if it comes from there, it can be treated from there as well. So for a start, right? I start like, building up my mindset, right? Building up a strong mindset. Okay, so I think like, I can't remember, a few days ago, I posted this on my Facebook, okay? And then I got a question. I got people that sending me an email and asking like, how do I do this? All right. So this quote saying that you cannot stop the wave, but you can learn to surf. Okay. So what I'm trying to tell you here is like, okay, like I told you, right? So I've been living with anxiety since like 2016. All right. So 2 years, the first 2 years, right? After all the doctor shopping, and then I end up eventually met a psychiatrist. They prescribe me some medicines, and then I'm fine. When I'm getting better, I gradually stop the medicine. As advised by my psychiatrist, right? So I was fine for 6 months. All right. After 6 months, and then it's relapsed, right? So it's relapsed, and basically it starts all over again. So from there, as I mentioned from the previous slide, it's like whatever it is, it comes from the mindset, right? So now, instead of fighting it, I just like let it flow, let it go. Basically, I ride with it, right? So I embrace it, and I change my perspective of it, right? So for example, because of, we both know this anxiety come and go. It will come, stay there, and then it will go, right? So the more you fight, right? For me, the more you fight, the more you will be tired, right? Because you're fighting every day, right? And you're avoiding things like every day. So instead of fighting or avoiding it, for me, I just like let it through. Right? I just let it through. And then, like I said, I try to embrace it or change it to another perspective, right? For example, previously, before, for me, okay, for the first, when I got anxiety, right? I think, yeah, this is the worst thing that happened to me. Of course, this is the worst thing that happened to me. But if I look at another perspective, it changed me a lot as a person. Right? It changed me a lot as a person. For example, previously, like I mentioned, right, I was too ambitious. I was self-centered. All I want is money, and then, my careers, big house and so on. But after this anxiety happened to me, right, one of the things that give me a very big impact, right? So for example, because I have a health anxiety or hypochondriac, right? So if you guys know, there was like, you're scared of death, right? You're scared of death, and then like, every single, just a small thing. For example, you have a headache, and then you straight away think about it might be a brain tumor or brain cancer, right? So you have a tummy ache, right? So you straight away go to stomach cancer or colon cancer, for example. So, and I was like really worried about that and so on. You know, if I die, then is it like, you know, did I left enough money for my kids and my wife to survive? But the thing is, the problem is, you know, when that 3 months time, I was like in the very worst level. What I mean is, you know, I don't want to go out, I don't want to meet people, I'm just be in my room because I'm scared if I go out, I will die outside. And then, like, you know, if I want to die, I want to die in my home with my kids and my wife around. But like I said, right, so the impact is not only to me, the impact is to her, to my kids, to my family. You know, I don't want to go out, I don't let them go out because of if they went out and then, you know, if anything happened to me, then there's no one around. So it gives a big impact to a lot of other people. So because of that, that's one of the reasons why I started this anxiety in me, because of I don't want to other people to, you know, going through what I've been through. Yeah, because of, like I said, all the time has been wasted because of this anxiety, you know. So that's why, I mean, if let's say this video I only have one viewer, right, but that one viewer, I mean, like whatever that I share benefit to him, right, then he or she can get that quality time. That is enough for me. Okay, yeah, okay, back to that, back to this, right? So yes, as I say, so it changed me a lot, right? So it changed me the way I see life. As I mentioned, before this, I always look at, you know, how can I make more money and so on. But after anxiety came to my life, happened to my life, the way I see life is different. Okay, now, instead of worrying that I'll be die soon, which is eventually everyone will die soon, right? I think about what is the value, right? What is the value that I left to the community if I die? Okay, so this is one of the way for me to contribute to the community. You know, so if I die, at least, even if only it helps one viewer, that should be fine to me. You know, it makes me happy more than anything. Yeah, but I think everyone that have been through to anxiety or depression knows it is not easy to do this, because of when we have anxiety, it's like we have a shield around us, right? It's like, you know, whatever that people say, even we try to do a positive thought and so on, it just cannot work. You know, it's just like we have a shield, right? So all the things that we read, all the things that people tell us to do or talk, we just cannot digest it, right? It's just like, you know, we have a shield. So for me, it takes a practice, right? It take a practice, you know, and you must be consistent and persistent, right? So you cannot expect, like, you know, you do this today and then you expect the result tomorrow. I mean, even if you eat a medicine, right? For example, antibiotics. In my place, it takes 5 days in order for it to work. So you need to finish the whole course. Maybe it's the same way as yours as well, right? Even if we take antidepressant, right? If antidepressant at least take 2 weeks in order for it to kick in. So the point here is you need to be consistent and persistent in order for it to be in order for it to work, right? So same goes with your brain training, your mindset training. You cannot expect that you do it today and then you'll be fine tomorrow. It takes some time and effort. And again, the road to recovery is start with you. All right, you yourself need to change. You know, you cannot you know, just like, I don't know. I mean, like, you cannot be like, you know, oh, I have this mental illness. I think, yeah, I'm not going to do anything about it. You know, because of the road to recovery start from you. Okay, so the first step on managing anxiety disorder. So what I see it here is basically based on my experience. Okay, so for me, the first most important step that you need to take on managing your anxiety disorder, depression, or any other mental issue is acceptance. Okay, so what do I mean by this? Right, so first of all, you need to accept that you have anxiety disorder or any other mental issue. Okay, so what I mean by acceptance here is, I'm not saying that, you know, okay, I accept that I have this disorder, so, you know, I'm just going to be like lie down all day, because I have this illness. No, what I mean is, if you accept the fact that you have this illness, right, then you can plan on what is the next step towards recovery. Okay, that's what I mean by acceptance. It's not like you accept and then not doing anything. The reason why you accept it, and then you can plan what you're going to do next. All right. For one of the example of acceptance is for me. I mean, throughout that 2 years, 3 years, I went for doctor shopping and all, right? So what does it mean there is I did not accept all the professional in their field saying that nothing is wrong with me, I'm fine. So meaning I'm still in denial. Of course you are in denial because of, all the doctors that you ran saying that nothing is wrong with you, but you still have this physical illness, right? I mean, like you still feel the pain, right? Of course you'll be thinking like, what is this? So, but like I said, up until the point that I accept the fact that all the doctors that I went, right, specialists in their field saying that nothing is wrong with me, I've done all the tests. I did all the tests. I did all of the scan that I think exists in this world, and it says it's nothing. All right. So again, I need to accept the fact that nothing is wrong with me. Right. First, I need to accept that I have anxiety disorder, and then I accept the fact that nothing is wrong with me. Because of, if not, basically, there's nothing for you to believe on. Because if you don't trust the doctor, you don't trust, I don't know, all the reports or whatever, right? So there's no way for you to put your trust on. Okay? And then the third one is, okay, since I have hypochondriac, right? Since I have anxiety, right? I need to accept everyone will eventually die at the end of the day, right? Why am I so scared of dying? Because of, at the end of the day, that's our journey. It's the natural things, right? Everything that live will die soon. And again, as I mentioned, I know this is not easy to do. It takes a lot of practice. I mean, you need to train your mind in order to have this mindset on accepting, things, right? So, as I mentioned, right, for me, how do I do it is slowly, but it's consistent. For me, I believe it's better that you start small, but you're doing every day, rather than, you do it one big things, and then you end up not getting any result, all right? And then you will be frustrated, and it go back to square one. Okay? So for me, for example, right? So let's say you do some you train your mindset, you train your mind, you train your brain to accept this, right? So let's say you have like 12 hours a week, right? And then like throughout that 12 hours, maybe like you have anxieties throughout that 12 hours. If you try to practice this, maybe at least 3 minutes a day, at least throughout the 12 hours, you got like 3 minutes quality time. You got what I mean? Because of all this time, all the remaining 11 hours, you'll be like thinking, your mind is wandering around, you're thinking a lot of stuff, thinking about anxiety and so on. But with these 3 minutes every day, at least you have a 3 minutes quality time every day. So maybe you start with 1 minute, right? And then after a month, when it's become a routine to you, then you increase it. As I mentioned, it's slowly, but eventually it'll work, right? So for me, again, it must be consistent and persistent in order for you to see the result. And then you start slowly. If you start big and then you don't see any result, and then you eventually will be like frustrated and you're not going to do it again, and then you will be back to square one. Okay, and I also have a question. I also got a question from my email and asking, so if there's if there's anxiety attacks or panic attacks, what did I do? So the method that I do is grounding, right? So there's like a few of grounding techniques or methods. So the one that I normally do is one of these is this one, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method. So what did you do is, when your mind wandering around thinking about, I don't know, a lot of things, so wandering around here and there, and then you have a panic attack. So what I do is, the first thing I do will be this one, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, which is, you find the 5 things that you can see, 4 things that you can feel, 3 things that you can hear, 2 things that you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. If you cannot find anything that you can taste, you can close your eyes and imagine the taste of the foods or anything. All right. So if you if you do this, right? So because of your mind is wandering around, and then with anxiety attacks, with panic attacks, even more worse. So by doing this, so basically you take back your focus to all of these 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 things. So instead of your mind wandering around, now your focus is on this, right? So again, at least for 5 minutes, your mind can focus on this instead of all your anxieties, all your panic attacks and so on. Okay, so the next one that I do is stop. Stop is easy. It's just like, if your mind wandering around, right, if you know that it's anxiety attacks, you say stop, right? Or maybe you say that's it, or that's enough. So by that, again, you change your focus to stop, right? You change you change the focus of your mind to stop, or that's it, or whatever. And the last one is breathing. Right, breathing is easy. I mean, like, you just inhale for 5 seconds, you hold your breath for 5 seconds, and then you exhale for 5 seconds, and then you repeat. I don't know, 10 to 15 minutes. Again, you can start small. You can do this breathing every day before sleep. When I first started train my brain, right, train my mind, I do this breathing every day. All right, maybe for I start with 5 minutes, and then you increase it slowly. As I mentioned, right, it's better that you start small but consistent and persistent, rather than, let's say, you start for 30 minutes and then you didn't see any result, and then you become frustrated, and then you don't want to do it again, and then nothing is changed. All right, so of course, if you do like 10 to 20 minutes, your mind will be wander around back, but it's fine. You let it go. I mean, like, you let it wander around for a bit, and then you take back the focus to the breathing. All right, so when you inhale, you really focus on your breathing. You see, like, the air come to your nose, go to your lung, go down. All right, then you really focus on your breathing. When you do that, then your mind will stop wandering around, and then just focus on your breathing. All right, again, as I said, of course your mind will be wandering around. That's okay. It's just that what you need to do is you need to, like, pull it back to your breath, right, to the breathing technique. And then you do it slowly. Start from 5 minutes, and start 5 minutes for 1 or 2 weeks or even a month. All right, you gradually increase it slowly. All right, by doing that, you will basically train your mind to focus. All right, and then at the same time, your mind will be focused on your breath instead of some other things wandering around and so on. As I mentioned earlier, it's better that you have a 30 minutes of quality times out of that 12 hours, right, rather than nothing, rather than all the 12 hours your mind wandering around about the anxieties and so on. Okay. All right. So yes, I think that's about it for this episode. Okay. So there's the quote here: knowing is not enough, you must apply. Willing is not enough, you must do. So whatever that I share, if it's benefit to you, all right, if you think that it's beneficial to you, please apply it. All right, please try it and do it. All right, because of, you can listen to a lot of things, but up until you tried it, you don't know the outcome, you don't know the result. So do it slowly, consistently, and persistently. All right, so eventually you will get it. All right, it is a matter of time. And again, you cannot compare your route to recovery to others, right? Because of this is very individual specific, right? So you cannot compare to others. One of the reasons why we got anxiety, maybe because of the social comparison. We keep comparing things with other people, So now it's about yourself, right? Your self-acceptance, right? So just don't think about anyone else. Just focus on your recovery process. And last but not least, okay, I'm begging you, I'm really, really begging you, if you or someone that basically had some mental issue, or struggling with mental issue, either anxiety disorder, depression, bipolar, and so on, please, seek help or treatment before it's too late. As I mentioned, because I know the impact is huge, right? The impact is not only for yourself, but a lot of other people around you as well. Because I know how hard it is, and I don't want it happen to you guys. All right, because of every single time is very valuable. Right, time is priceless. So when I've been through that, all right, I think I mean, whoever that's been through that journey or even going through right now, you know what I'm talking about. You know, you just lie down, you don't want to go meet people. I mean, for example, like me, right? The reason why I want to stay at home, because I always want to be close with my kids, right? So that, you know, if I die, they already spend the whole time with me. But the thing is, the problem is, even if I'm at home, it's not like I'm playing with them. I'm just lie down on my bed, right? So it's like I'm there, but I'm not there. You know what I mean? So, you know, can you see like how much time that have you been wasted? You know, my wife want to go to, you know, vacation. My kids want to go to the mall and so on. I cannot bring them because I just cannot. So you see like how much time that I've been wasted, all right? That I've been wasted. So basically, it's poor them. I mean, like poor them. It's not impacting, like I said, it's not only impacting me. It's impacting the people around me as well. So that's the reason why I do this podcast. You know, because of, to be honest, I'm not gonna gain anything from this, right? I'm not gonna gain any money. I'm even like, you know, need to spend my time on doing this and so on, while at the same time I can do something else. Like all these past 4 years, I've been keeping it secret, so I can do a lot of other things. But you know, as I mentioned earlier, at the end of the day, because of you've been through that hell and you don't want others to go through the same journey, right? So if I can help even at least one person, that's enough for me, right? So again, if whatever that I share is beneficial to you, please share it to others that you know that might need it, all right? Sometimes it's not about the people that are having a mental issue. Maybe you just can share it to others, you know, to build their mindset, okay? All right, so by that, I'm signing off. Thank you and have a good one. All right.